So, picture this scenario. It is late at night, maybe 11:30 p.m.
Right.
You are sitting on your couch. The TV is on in the background, but you aren't really watching it. You are staring at your phone, doom scrolling through a real estate app. You know the drill.
Oh, yeah, we all know the drill.
You have been looking for a house for months. You were just waiting for that one perfect notification to pop up.
The white whale of real estate listings.
Exactly, the white whale. And suddenly, there it is. You see it, a coming soon listing.
Yeah.
The photos look absolutely incredible. I mean, we are talking a renovated kitchen, quartz countertops, the backyard is huge. It looks like a private park. It feels perfect.
It always does at first glance.
Right. But then your brain kicks into, detective mode. You scroll down to look for the catch. Usually you would check the history. Has it been sitting there for 3 months? Has the price dropped 5 times? You want to know if it's stale.
You are looking for the red flags. You want the context.
Exactly. But you realize something weird. That data just isn't there. It is just blank. It is totally clean.
It looks pristine, like a brand new car just rolling onto the showroom floor.
Right. And your brain immediately goes, wow, fresh inventory. I have to jump on this right now before someone else does. But what you are actually looking at might be a phantom. You are looking at the result of a massive shift in the real estate world that literally just happened yesterday.
Yes, you are talking about the major announcement from February 26th, 2026.
I am. And look, usually when companies merge or they sign partnerships, I just kind of glaze over. It usually sounds like, company A high fives company B. The stock prices move a little bit. But this feels really different.
It is very different.
We're talking about Compass, which owns a huge chunk of the luxury and high-end market, right? Teaming up with Rocket, the massive mortgage giant that owns Redfin.
Yeah, to give you a sense of the scale here, this is not just a corporate high five. This is a massive data funnel. You have Compass International Holdings, and just think about their portfolio for a second. Century 21, Coldwell Banker, Sotheby's, Corcoran.
That is huge.
It is. We are talking about a portfolio that could potentially funnel over 500,000 listings straight onto Redfin.
And Redfin isn't exactly small potatoes either.
No, not at all. Redfin clocked nearly 2 billion visits in 2026. So essentially, you have the premier inventory meeting the absolute maximum number of eyeballs.
So today on the Deep Dive, we aren't just going to gossip about corporate strategy. Our mission is to figure out what this actually means for you, the person trying to buy or sell a house.
Because it changes everything.
It does. It changes the mechanics of the market. It changes what you see, what you don't see. And honestly, it changes whose side the app is really on.
It really is a fascinating case study in how information flows, or in this case, how it doesn't flow. We need to unpack 3 specific things today. The data that is disappearing, something Rocket calls the high-intent lead pipeline, and the money trail behind the mortgage.
Okay, let us unpack this. I want to start with the coming soon listings. Before this deal, if I was on Redfin, I felt like I had superpowers, right?
Right, you had total visibility.
Exactly. I could see everything the agents could see. I could see if a seller was desperate because the house had been sitting there for 100 days.
Yeah, and that is the transparency promise of the MLS, the multiple listing service. For years, the prevailing idea was always that an educated buyer is a better buyer.
But now you are saying that for these specific Compass listings, these coming soon or private exclusive ones, that transparency is just being toggled off.
That is the core of the deal. According to the announcement, these specific listings will not display days on market or price reduction history.
Wait, seriously, that is literally the very first thing I look at. I love seeing a house that has been sitting for 4 months because I know I can lowball them.
And that right there is exactly why they are removing it.
Wow.
Compass CEO Robert Refkin was very explicit about this in the press release. He used a very specific phrase. He called those metrics misleading insights that damage value.
Hang on a second. Misleading insights. How is a basic fact misleading? I mean, if a house has been for sale for 100 days, it has been for sale for 100 days. That is just a calendar. That is not an opinion.
I agree, but his argument is that a stale listing makes buyers automatically assume something is wrong with the house, even if it is perfectly fine. It just might have been priced a little high initially.
Okay.
He argues that sellers should be able to list their homes without the fear of these negative insights driving their final sale price down.
Okay, I hear that.
Yeah.
I guess from a seller's perspective, you really don't want a scarlet letter on your house.
Exactly.
But let us flip it. Let us look at it from the buyer's side. If I go to a car dealership
Oh, I was actually just thinking about that analogy.
Yeah, like if I walk onto a lot and I see a sedan that has been sitting there for 6 months, it has got dust on the windshield, maybe the tires are a little low, I know the dealer wants it gone.
Mhm.
Is that knowledge misleading or is that just, leverage?
It is market leverage.
Hmm.
Pure and simple. In almost every other sector of the economy, time on shelf is a critical signal for the consumer. It tells the buyer about the demand relative to the price. By toggling off that transparency for these specific listings, the platform is essentially curating reality.
Curating reality. That sounds a little ominous.
It simply means you aren't seeing the raw data anymore. You, as the buyer, might be looking at a coming soon listing on Redfin that feels incredibly fresh and exciting. But in reality, it might have been sitting completely empty for 60 days as a private listing.
But I wouldn't know.
You just don't know because the counter has been disabled.
So the clean listing is basically a poker face.
That is a great analogy. It is a poker face engineered by the software. And for you, the listener, the so what here is huge.
Yeah, how does this actually affect me?
If you are browsing Redfin and you see a Compass listing, you need to realize you are entering a zone where the transparency that usually defines the open MLS has been intentionally limited. And it is limited specifically to protect the seller's leverage.
Which brings us to the next layer of this, which is even more invisible to the average user.
The pipeline.
Yes. The press release used a phrase that honestly gave me chills. They called it the high-intent lead pipeline.
It is quite the term, isn't it? Very industrial.
It sounds like they are routing oil, not people. Process the pipeline. But they are talking about home buyers.
They are. It frames the homebuyer not necessarily as a client to be served, but as an asset to be routed. And we really need to explain how that routing works.
Because this is where the mechanics of the website actually change the mechanics of your legal representation.
Exactly.
Okay, so walk me through the click. I am on the app. I see the house. I don't know how long it has been there, but I really like the kitchen. I see the big red button that says Contact Agent. I click it. Who am I actually calling?
In this new partnership, if you click on one of these Compass Coming Soon listings on Redfin, that inquiry does not go to a random Redfin buyer's agent who just helps you tour homes.
Okay.
It is routed directly to the listing agent.
The person selling the house.
Yes. The Compass agent who explicitly represents the seller.
Okay, explain to me, like I am 5, why that matters. If I want to buy the house, shouldn't I talk to the person selling it? That actually feels pretty efficient.
It is efficient, yes, but it can be very dangerous for your wallet. It matters because of fiduciary duty. We have to think about the 2024 settlement agreements.
Right, the big industry shakeup from a couple of years ago.
Exactly. Those 2024 settlements heavily emphasize that buyers need their own distinct representation. To understand why, think of it like a divorce proceeding.
Oh boy, okay, let us go there.
The listing agent is the husband's lawyer. Their job, their actual legal obligation, is to get the best outcome for the husband.
Right.
Now, if you, the wife, call the husband's lawyer directly and say, hey, I really want to settle, what is the absolute lowest he will take?
The lawyer is going to use that against me. He's going to turn around and say, hey, she is desperate to settle. We can push for more.
Precisely. The listing agent's job is to get the highest price and the best terms for the seller. If you query that button, you are walking into a negotiation with the opposition, usually without your own representation.
But isn't there a rule against that? I have heard of the term dual agency. Can one agent actually represent both people?
It is legal in many states, provided it is fully disclosed, but you have to ask yourself about the inherent conflict of interest.
Yeah, how can you fight for the highest price and the lowest price at the same time?
You can't. If the agent is your first point of contact and they are already working for the seller, are you, the buyer, fully protected?
Especially if that agent is already hiding how long the house has been on the market?
That connects the dots perfectly. Look at the situation. You have a listing with a hidden price history. You have a buyer who thinks it is completely fresh inventory. And the person you are connected to is the one incentivized to protect that high price.
Wow.
So as an expert looking at this, my advice is that the buyer is starting at a massive information disadvantage.
And we aren't talking about a small number of people getting caught in this, are we? Rocket said they expect, what was it, 1 million inquiries?
The projection is that 1 million buyer inquiries will flow to Compass agents through this deal.
1 million.
Yes. That is a massive volume of consumers potentially entering a major financial negotiation without their own distinct representation right at the start.
That is wild. Okay, so we have hidden data, we have the lead pipeline routing us straight to the seller's agent. Now we need to follow the money.
Always follow the money.
Why is Rocket, which is fundamentally a mortgage company, so incredibly involved in this?
Because the mortgage is the actual product. This deal includes what they are calling an embedded mortgage strategy. Rocket Mortgage is offering Compass clients preferred pricing.
What does that mean in real dollars?
Specifically, it means a 1 percentage point rate reduction for the first year of the loan or a flat $6,000 lender credit.
Okay, I am not going to lie. If rates are sitting at 7% and I can suddenly get 6%, that sounds like real money. That catches my attention immediately.
It sounds very appealing, absolutely, and it is real money. But we really need to do the boring math here.
Let us do the boring math. I love boring math.
Okay, let us say you are taking out a $500,000 loan. At a standard 7% interest rate, your principal and interest payment is going to be roughly $3,300 a month.
Okay, $3,300. Got it.
Now, Rocket offers you this preferred pricing. You get a 1% reduction for the first year. So for 12 months, your rate is 6%. Your payment drops to about $3,000. You save $300 a month.
That is $3,600 a year. That is not nothing. That is a new couch. That is a really nice vacation.
It is. But here's the catch. It is a temporary buy-down.
Oh.
Yeah. In year 2, you bounce right back up to the full 7%.
Ah, so year 2 through year 30, I am just back to regular pricing.
Correct. And here's the real danger of the embedded aspect of this deal. Because the offer is right there in the app, it is the path of least resistance.
Right.
You find the house, you click the agent, you get the mortgage offer, all in one seamless place. It is completely frictionless.
And we love frictionless. We love one-click ordering.
We do love it. But in mortgage lending, friction, which is basically shopping around, saves you money. The CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, has tons of research on this.
What did they find?
They found that borrowers who shop around with just 3 different lenders save an average of $100 per month for the entire life of the loan.
Wait, so $100 a month over a 30-year loan?
That is $36,000.
Whoa, okay. That puts the initial discount in perspective.
Exactly. So if you take the Easy Rocket offer, you save $3,600 in year 1. But if that base rate was even slightly higher than what a local broker could have gotten you, you might literally be losing $30,000 or $40,000 over the long haul.
Just because you didn't shop around.
Yeah, right.
So the shiny object at the first-year discount totally distracts you from the 29 years of overpaying.
Exactly. Don't let the shiny app distract you from the boring math.
Don't let the shiny act distract you from the boring math. I am legitimately putting that on a T-shirt.
It is good advice.
It is. But I want to zoom out for a second here, because if you have been following real estate for a while, seeing Redfin involved in a deal like this feels, I don't know, it feels surprising.
It is a total 180.
Right, because Redfin used to be the transparency company, right? That was their whole brand identity. We show you everything. We are the ultimate consumer advocate.
It was their core identity. And this is where it gets really interesting for industry watchers. If we look at the historical context, this is a massive strategic flip-flop. Let us just look at the timeline. April 2025.
So less than a year ago.
Right. Redfin is under their old CEO, Glenn Kelman. They explicitly announced they are barring private listings that aren't shared via the open MLS. Their stance was entirely moral. They basically said, we prioritize transparency. If it is not open to everyone, we will not show it on our site.
That is a really strong stance. If you can't see it, we won't host it.
Very strong. But then, fast forward 3 months, July 2025. Rocket officially acquires Redfin. That is the turning point.
The big money moves in.
Exactly. Then fast forward to January 2026, literally just last month, Glenn Kelman departs after 20 years at the helm.
Okay.
And now, February 2026, 1 month later, the new leadership announces this partnership, fully embracing the exact same private listings Redfin previously blocked.
Wow. It is like watching a corporate philosophy change in real time. The old guard leaves and the gates just fly wide open.
It is. It clearly signals a shift from a philosophy of maximum information for the buyer to a philosophy of inventory acquisition and lead monetization.
And again, we aren't saying this is evil. It is business. They have shareholders to answer to.
Correct. It is a highly rational business move to monetize your leads. But as a user of the app, you need to recognize that the platform's DNA has fundamentally changed. It is no longer just a neutral search engine for homes.
Right. It is a funnel.
Yes. It is a funnel for a specific set of highly profitable services.
So let us pivot to the seller for a minute. Because Compass is pitching this whole thing as seller choice.
Mm-hmm.
They say, hey, you have the freedom to list privately. That sounds super empowering. Who doesn't want freedom and choice?
Choice and freedom are incredibly powerful marketing words, but we have to look at the actual trade-off here. I call this the seller choice paradox.
Okay, what is the paradox?
The paradox is that choosing privacy almost always means choosing less exposure. And in real estate, less exposure usually means less money.
Just because fewer people are seeing the house.
Exactly. The National Association of Realtors has concrete data on this. Their research consistently indicates that homes listed on the open MLS, where literally every agent and every buyer in the market can see them, typically sell for more than those marketed privately.
Because competition drives the price up.
Exactly. Bidding wars happen in the open.
So if my agent tells me, hey, let us keep this a private exclusive, it will be way less hassle, they might actually be right about the hassle, but completely wrong about the final price.
Potentially, yes. And you really have to ask the hard question regarding the incentive structure. When a brokerage keeps a listing in its own ecosystem, like a private exclusive, they get to keep all the data.
Right.
They keep the buyer leads, remember that high-intent lead pipeline we talked about, and potentially they capture the mortgage origination through the Rocket partnership.
So the broker basically gets the whole pie.
The ecosystem wins. The critical question the seller needs to answer is this: does the advice to go private actually benefit my final sale price, or does it just benefit the brokerage's ability to double in the deal and keep everything in-house?
That is a really tough question to ask your agent, but it sounds like you absolutely have to ask it.
You cannot afford not to ask it.
Okay, this is a lot of information. We have hidden data, we have lead funnels, corporate flip-flops, and mortgage math. Let us try to boil this down. If I am listening to this deep dive right now, and I am about to start looking for a house tomorrow, what do I actually do? Give me the cheat sheet.
Okay, for the buyer, there are 4 key actionable takeaways. Number 1, verify the status.
Okay.
When you see a listing, look closely. Is this a coming soon, or is it a standard MLS listing? If it is coming soon or private, you must assume data is missing.
Assume the poker face. Treat it with a healthy dose of suspicion.
Exactly. Number 2, ask the hard questions. Ask the agent directly. Has this home been priced down? How long has it really been available? Do not rely on the screen. Make the human being tell you the facts.
I love that. Make them say it out loud. Don't let them hide behind a slick UI.
Right. Number 3 is the representation check. Before you click that contact button, clearly understand who that agent works for.
Right. The divorce lawyer analogy.
Exactly. If it is a Compass listing and you are clicking through Redfin, you are likely routing straight to the seller's rep. Get your own agent involved before you ever click that button.
Bring your own lawyer to the divorce. Got it.
And 4th, mortgage shopping. Do not just blindly take the embedded offer. That 1% off in year 1 might be great, but you need to get 3 distinct quotes.
Hop around.
Make the lenders compete for your business. Do not pay $30,000 extra over the life of the loan just for the convenience of one single click on your phone.
Okay, really solid advice. And what if I'm the seller? If I'm sitting at my dining room table with a Compass agent and they pitch me this private listing idea, what should my counter be? What should I be asking?
You need to demand the data. If they suggest a private listing, ask for the actual spread. Say, show me the data on private sale prices versus open market prices right here in this specific neighborhood.
Show me the money. Prove it works.
Yes. And you must ask about the flow of information. Ask them, if a buyer comes from Redfin directly to my private listing, does that lead go straight to you? And how does that impact the buyer's ability to negotiate with us?
You have to know the strategy.
You need to completely understand if limiting the audience is actually serving your goal of selling the home for top dollar, or if it is just feeding their corporate pipeline.
It really all comes down to being an active participant, doesn't it? You cannot just sit back and let the app drive you.
That is the ultimate key here. These tech tools are incredibly powerful, but they are purposefully designed to reduce friction. And sometimes, friction is exactly where the necessary due diligence happens.
Yeah, that's such a profoundly good point. We are so used to wanting everything to be easy. Click, buy, done, deliver it tomorrow. But buying a house isn't buying a pair of sneakers on Amazon.
No, it is usually the biggest financial transaction of your entire life, and transparency in that transaction truly matters.
So to wrap this whole thing up, Compass and Rocket are massive, incredibly successful companies. They are making completely rational moves to grow their business and monetize their users.
Mhm.
But the user interface of the housing market just got a little more opaque for the rest of us.
It absolutely did. And here is a final thought for you to mull over as we close out.
Let's hear it.
We talk a lot about value in real estate. When a huge platform intentionally removes information like price history to protect value, as Refkin put it, we have to ask a question. Are they protecting the asset's actual market value? Or are they just protecting the illusion of its value?
Ooh, that is a heavy question. Protecting the value versus protecting the illusion of value.
And as a consumer navigating all this, you have to ask yourself, is a frictionless experience really worth the cost of being blind?
Is frictionless worth the cost of being blind? I think that is really going to stick with me. We'll leave you with that thought. Stay curious, ask the hard questions, and seriously don't just click the first button you see. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive.
See you next time.